Next question.
Sure, I'll go ahead. One good question I had as far as last night with the roundtable discussions, staffing came up, and as far as recruiting new employees and even having people aware of electrical distribution as a career option. And I was just curious if you found that to be a challenge, or in addition to that, what you would find your biggest challenges to be in present day in the present day market currently.
Brian, you may want to jump in on this. I believe you were around on the Eastern Regional Council when we had the career track goal. If you weren't, I know Tom Neighbor was. We had a formal program in place that would really, it was designed around promoting our industry to the college grad level type of potential employee. Unfortunately, it was introduced in the latter stages of 2008. Right before the biggest
before the
recession in American history, if I recall.
It started taking a tank. It was entitled Power Up Your Career. It was a dedicated website. And to spread that message, to spread the awareness of the industry, we worked very extensively with the different, the high school, associations throughout the U.S. We even tried to target military exits, just to try to, create that awareness. And these are the opportunities that we have. We have a video clip that we kind of made for the industry itself, the world of electrical distribution, just to kind of raise that awareness factor. But also from a recruiting standpoint, this year, one of our research projects, we've got an HR-related research project that's going on now that they're starting to roll out some deliverables the end of this month into August. We've got some upcoming webinars. So yeah, it's a big challenge. We see it, whether you're small, medium, large, it's, manufacturer, supplier, or distributor, it's all up and down the channel. So, but yeah, we've got some research coming out as well, Scott.
From a smaller company's viewpoint, we only have 90-some employees, so recruitment for us, because we're so small, we don't get a lot of people knocking on the doors. I mean, even if when we try to recruit from some of the colleges, City Electric is not on their top list. We do have to confess that nepotism runs rampant at City Electric. We have a lot of brothers and brothers, or dads and sons, and people are related all over the place at City Electric. And for us, actually, that's worked out pretty well, because I think, or friends of friends, people tend to recommend someone that they believe in or rely on. But I have this one story that I say to every new employee, if they're related to someone. I say, they come into my office and I welcome them, and I say, now it might be your brother that got you the job here at City Electric, and that's great. But you're the one that's going to keep the job here. So it has nothing to do with whether or not he's your brother or not, or she's your sister. And let me just tell you a quick story, because I fired my own brother twice. They shake in their boots and then they walk. No, but sir, I did do it twice, right? I didn't learn the first time. But that's it. For a smaller company, that is what we tend to do. It's usually by recommendation, or we steal them.
To me, it doesn't matter the size of the company, because hiring good people, you've got to go and attract them, and it's tough to find good people. We have a strategy inside our company where we meet at least yearly, and we call it filling our funnel. That's a pretty simple term of how full is your funnel, and in what positions are you looking for, whether it's counter sales, warehouse, branch manager, district manager, depending upon the level where you are in the company. You've got to report on where your funnel is. We also train our folks on, we call them centers of influence. I know every company's got their codes. We call them C of I's. But how you go about your community, getting involved in your community, is where you're going to find people. You never know where you're going to find the next salesperson, warehouse, driver. We have more success stories around our company of folks driving around, going to a restaurant, meeting people and saying, God, that person is really good. I just like their demeanor. I like how they look. I like how they dress. I'm going to go talk to them. And you can hire them. And there's so many stories about that. But it's getting yourself involved. getting yourself involved in the local schools, whether it's technical colleges, local universities. It's called building that funnel and acting on it. Because if you don't keep your funnel full, you're not able to attracting. And again, it's right. This is not a sexy industry. There's not a lot of folks who wake up every day and say, "Oh, I'm going to go work in electrical distribution." There's probably nobody. Anybody do that? Raise your hand. Unless you're born into the business like I was, But this is not an industry that you're going to go wake up every day and think about. But if you ask the folks at our companies, and you can ask folks at your companies, are you happy where you are? And most of them will say, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm making a good income. I'm providing for my family. Then you ask them the next question. Well, who do you know that you would like to work with? Because I don't know about your companies, but ours, we only spend half the day. You pick the morning or after, the first half or second half from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or, you're with these folks 12, 13 hours a day. Who do you want to work with? And you go find those folks, and these become your friends. And that's how we go and recruit.
At the High Company, I think it's safe to say, and we're a very rural-based organization, so rural Pennsylvania, throw one location in West Virginia. And for the folks from West Virginia, don't take offense to that because I like that place too, but we're very, very rural. 10 years ago, we probably had 2 college graduates out of 300. Why? I don't know. What I can tell you now is that we probably have 15 or 20, and they're all accelerating in their positions much faster than what I call the traditional entry into our market. One's not better than the other. They're just bringing a different skill set that folks that perhaps didn't get the opportunity to go through a college or a career track training program. And unfortunately, and we talked about it earlier, it's driven by technology. The folks that are able to work more efficiently in a PC environment or in a software environment are typically the folks that are getting the upper hand with promotions. So I don't know if that's good or bad. It's just reality that we're definitely attracting and looking for folks with the skill set leaning more towards technology. We feel we can teach them the product.
I'd like to add just one. Hello? There it is. I'd like to add just one other thought that I had. We are all billboards for our companies. We have a great opportunity at BJ Electric to have an education through NAED. It's a beautiful thing we have in our industry to know that we can just tap on NAED and the whole education section of NAED that is so incredibly strong to develop our people better. If I went through the program, then I'm certainly going to say to the next person on the street that I meet saying, hey, you know what? BJ Electric has a great program, that they grow me. I keep growing in this company. I keep growing. That's one thing you just got to know, that there's this culture of growth within the company, and there's a process so that as you're staying there, you become more important because they're investing in you and you're investing in yourself. That's the other thing. You got to do that on your own too. It doesn't always have to be company provided. Go find it yourself. Be that billboard that you want to be for the company and part of that image you want to portray. As long as there's a process there that you can take advantage of, do it. And then the next person you talk to, it'll really help them to know that there's a good process here at this company and they're going to grow you too. So I just thought I'd put that out there because I think that speaks an awful lot when we're trying to recruit people. It's our own experience that really says a lot.
I'll give you one real story about the lead at NAED. We had a friend call from, I want to say up in the Northeast, where their spouse was getting transferred to, I want to say it was the Panhandle of Florida. And they were looking for a job. Well, their employee worked in electrical distribution. So they called us. Said, hey, do you have an opening on the Panhandle of Florida? We have this gentleman who's in outside sales. His wife's getting transferred. Can you help him? Boy, that was awesome. We interviewed and talked to this individual, and they've now come on board and working in our location. That becomes part of networking. That becomes part of being a peer. It was non-threatening. The spouse is getting transferred. So you look around the room today as you get involved in the industry. How do you hire good people? It may not be. It may be who you know and how you've made friends across the industry, because you never know where someone's going to need to have an opportunity.
Next question.
Hi, Jenna with Standard Electric. Do you guys have one key habit that you feel like has developed your leadership skills and kind of moved you along throughout your career that you could suggest to us?
Go ahead. Oh, great. Thanks. Looks like I'll be the spokesman on this one. Really, I would say there's two things. One is listening. To be in leadership, you have to learn to listen. Trying to be quiet is very difficult, even for me. You have to stop and say, stop, tell me the facts, and listening. Typically by asking layered questions, and just when you hear it, you can kind of hear the facts. You got to listen through it. The other one is using humor and smiling. We'll relax to do that. So two, kind of a combination between humor and being a good listener is what I try to do for leadership.
I'll tell you one thing that I've done over time, and that's to say thank you, and in front of other people. Recognize those that have really done something well for you or for others. I think that's been very good. And I think the other thing that really helps too, as Charlie said, we laugh an awful lot at work. Work can be just, it's hard, and you got to find the opportunities to laugh with each other. And I think that once you find those people, you want to emit a culture in your company. And sometimes you hire people and they don't really get that laughter thing. And it's like, come on, you got to just lighten up. It'll be all right, it'll be all right. But I know, I think that thank you goes an awful long way. And good job. Tapping someone on the shoulder and say, really great, thanks for doing that. And especially when others hear it, they really like that part.
I would say interest. Starting, self-reflection on yourself. As a leader, are you interested in the business? Are you interested in where the business is going? Are you interested in your own job? And then probably far more important would be the interest in the associates in which you work with. Are you interested in how they're progressing professionally? Are you interested in their family? Do you spend time with them outside of work? Having fun at work is critical. And Charlie mentioned earlier, you're spending half your life with the people you work with. If you can't have fun, it's time to find another place to work. So we do, as a management team, we do a great deal of shared events, company events, picnics, overnights, anything we can do to show interest in what our employees are doing.
I think also celebrating the successes of each department or celebrating an individual's success and making that public to, whether it's on your newsletter or website. I think training also opens the opportunities for, if you're the leader, that you really want to allow the other employees or those who raise their hand. I think that's the clearest thing. If somebody says, oh, pick me, I love it when somebody says, I'll volunteer for that. So I think as a leader, you need to spot that opportunity for people to grow in their jobs and their positions.